Welcome, gearheads and curious commuters. Today we're diving into the wild and sometimes weird world of car modifications. Forget simple spoilers or neon underglow. We're talking about 8 of the strangest car mods you've probably never heard of. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. Let's get revved up and roll. The Tsurikawa, a mod that blends rebellion with aesthetics. If you've ever found yourself scrolling through Instagram feeds of custom JDM or Japanese domestic market cars, you've likely stumbled upon these funky handles. They're either hanging off a car's rear tow hook or gracefully adorning the interior. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a handle. But oh, the story goes deeper than that. Originally, these hanging handles come from Japanese subway cars, and their introduction into car culture is as edgy as it sounds. You see, Japan's notorious Bosozoku gangsters were the pioneers. These guys are like the Japanese counterpart to the Sons of Anarchy, if the Sons rode in cars that looked like they were straight out of an anime. As an act of defiance and a big old metaphorical middle finger to authority, Bosozoku members would steal Tsurikawa handles from subways and deck out their cars with them. Today, you don't have to resort to petty theft to own a Tsurikawa. Many companies produce them with unique designs, so you can show your rebellious spirit, minus the criminal record. It's a unique piece of flair with a dash of delinquent history. How's that for culture? Let's kick open the next door, shall we? Or better yet, let's swing it upwards. That's right, we're talking about scissor doors. Once the crown jewel of Lamborghinis and other exotics, these doors have now made their way onto, well, less exotic cars. Honda Civics, anyone? The origins of scissor doors are fascinating, as they initially had a utilitarian purpose. Marcello Gandini, the designer who gave us the Lamborghini Miura, first implemented this design on a 1968 Alfa Romeo Carabo concept. The doors swung upwards to combat the car's limited rear visibility, allowing the driver to lean out and check for obstacles while reversing. Yup, these fancy doors started as the high-tech equivalent of asking your friend to get out and guide you as you parallel park. Over the years, this feature became a Lamborghini hallmark, and eventually, the go-to mod for anyone looking to make a bold statement. It doesn't matter if your car's top speed is closer to a riding lawnmower's than a Lambo's. With scissor doors, you're guaranteed to turn heads, mostly for people wondering if you can actually see out the back. Okay, brace yourselves, because we're taking a sharp turn into cutesy town with our next mod, car eyelashes. Yeah, you heard me right. Imagine driving down the highway and you pull up next to a VW Beetle that's batting its headlights at you. If cars could flirt, this is how they'd do it. But where did this peculiar modification originate? You might be surprised to learn that we can trace the roots of car eyelashes back to, drumroll please, Lamborghini, specifically the Lamborghini Miura, designed by none other than Marcello Gandini. Yes, the same genius who gave us scissor doors. The Miura had these iconic headlights surrounded by thin streaks that, whether intentionally or not, resembled human eyelashes. So in some twisted tale of automotive evolution, we've gone from a legendary supercar to a Mini Cooper fluttering its eyelashes at you. Modern car eyelashes, often seen on cutesy cars like the Mini Cooper and VW Beetle, are way more literal. You stick them on and instantly your car looks like it's ready for a night out. While they're not exactly a performance booster, they're a head-turner for sure, and just the thing if you want your car to have a bit of personality, or should I say, personality. Switching gears, quite literally, we move on to something that's the polar opposite of cutesy, wide-body fender flares. This modification is the epitome of beefed-up aesthetics, turning an ordinary car into something that looks like it eats potholes for breakfast. But why are these muscular arches so popular? Originally, wide-body fender flares had a functional purpose, inspired by the high-stakes world of race car driving. High-performance race cars needed wider, stickier tires for enhanced grip and better cornering. The problem? These Godzilla-sized tires wouldn't fit in the standard fender wells. Enter wide-body fender flares, which made room for these monstrous tires while making the car look like it spent hours at the gym. Today, the trend has infiltrated mainstream car culture, not always for practical reasons, but certainly for stylistic ones. They make your car look aggressive, imposing, and ready for action, even if the most action it sees is navigating the target parking lot. These fender flares are part of a full wide-body kit or standalone pieces, depending on how far you want to go. So if you want to make a statement and maybe intimidate the car next to you at the traffic lights, wide-body fender flares are the way to go. All right, folks, fasten your seatbelts and maybe even your helmets because we're about to venture into the realm of the wild and weird with Demon Camber. Now, if you've ever seen a car that looks like it's broken its ankles, then you've probably witnessed Demon Camber in action. This isn't just your garden variety camber. This is camber gone rogue. We're talking about wheel angles so severe they could be a geometry teacher's nightmare. In normal race and drift cars, negative camber, where the top of the wheels tilt toward the body of the car, helps with grip when turning. But why settle for a modest 4 degrees when you can go all out and hit a ludicrous negative 20 degrees? That's what Demon Camber, or Oni-kyan as it's called in Japan, aims for. Is it practical? Heck no. Is it an extreme fashion statement on 4 wheels? Absolutely. It's the sartorial equivalent of wearing platform shoes with fish tanks in the heels. You're not doing it to get anywhere faster. You're doing it because you want to be noticed, and trust me, you will be. Next up, we're hitting the streets of H-Town, where hip-hop culture and car modding intersect in the most jaw-dropping ways. Say hello to Swanga Wheels, the Roman chariots of the modern age. Now, if you've ever seen these, your first thought was probably, is that even legal? Forget legality for a second. These wheels are as iconic to Houston as Beyoncé. Swangas are an essential part of what locals call a slab, which stands for slow, loud, and bangin'. Originating from the 70s custom car scene showcased in blaxploitation films, slabs have evolved as a unique cultural cousin to lowriders. They're characterized by their low stance, candy paint, and of course those protruding Swanga wheels. These wheels are not just metal sticks poking out of the rims. They're a statement piece, the piece de resistance of any respectable slab. You may question their practicality and even their safety, but when it comes to standing out, Swangas do the job and then some. They're the bling of car mods, the ultimate flashy accessory that screams, "Look at me, I'm fabulous," in a very Houston way. Hold on to your toolkits, people, because now we're diving into the magical world of dancing beds. Yes, you heard that right. Forget about cars that simply move forward and backward. We're talking about cars that can basically break dance. The dancing bed mod is most commonly seen on smaller pickups like the Chevy S10 or Datsun 620, and it's where lowrider culture meets America's Got Talent. The whole idea is a spectacle to behold. Imagine pulling up to a car show, and instead of revving your engine or spinning your rims, you make the bed of your truck perform a choreographed dance routine. It's as if your pickup attended a ballet academy. Powered by complex hydraulic systems, the truck bed can lift, tilt, and twirl in ways that defy gravity and common sense. It's not merely about showmanship, it's a celebration of engineering prowess and cultural heritage. While lowriders have been around for decades, turning the bed of a mini-truck into a dancing stage is a unique twist that makes these rides even more eye-catching. Whether you think it's the coolest thing ever or just plain absurd, there's no denying it captures attention. And now, for our final act in this carnival of car oddities, let me introduce you to the enigma that is rusted hoods. In a world where rust is the enemy of all things automotive, some brave, or should I say reckless, souls have decided to embrace it fully. We're talking about rat rods, the anti-heroes of the car world. Imagine taking an antique piece of rusty metal, and instead of restoring it to its original glory, you make it rustier. It's like a rebel yell against the polished and pristine world of classic car restoration. While a meticulously restored classic might win you points at a car show, a rusted hood will win you street cred and nods of approval from the alternative car modding community. The rusted look takes its cue from rat rods, which are essentially hot rods that have turned to the dark side. Far from being an eyesore, the controlled corrosion adds a certain badassery to the car that's hard to match. The VW scene has also caught on, applying the rust treatment to entire hoods. Sure, it's not everyone's cup of rust-flavored tea, but for those who like to live on the automotive edge, it's the perfect statement piece. And there you have it, folks. 8 of the strangest yet most fascinating car modifications that prove when it comes to cars, creativity knows no bounds. Whether you're into rusted hoods or dancing truck beds, there's a mod out there for everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, keep driving outside the box.